Now that the press brake is running, I guess I felt like I needed another project to work on. This is honestly probably my best one yet. So, I have a buddy, he's actually one of our product reps. He hit up my sales manager and he texted me, he didn't have any use for it. He said, hey, give Nathan a call. He's got a skid steer he's trying to get rid of. Okay, I'm sure I can't afford it, but I got with him anyway. So the story is, he bought a house. The house builder was a joke anyway, and he left the skid steer in the backyard, and eventually was like, you know what, you can keep it. Apparently he broke all contact, didn't even finish some of the things that he was supposed to do, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. So without further ado, I present to you my newest project. It's rough. It is rough. The bucket has been permanently affixed to the attachment arms. It's missing a floor pan. That's the intake cover that I haven't got on there yet. The seat is completely loose from the base. I could just pull that right out if I had two hands. It is a Case Uniloader 1835B, from best I can tell. It actually has a diesel engine. I was looking it over. He was like, you know what, if you could get it out of my yard, $500. I was like, you got a deal, buddy. $500. I thought, there's no way this thing's gonna run. It's been sitting in his yard for 3 years. There's no way. Let me open this cover. So I started looking over it. So wow, it's actually a diesel engine. Shocking. I was very surprised that it had a diesel engine in it. But sure enough, it's got a brand new starter on it too, I'll tell you that much. Looks like it's got a little bit of a... Well, no, I know where that came from. Never mind. I know where all that oil came from. Popped the cap on it. Thought there's got to be a reason this guy left it. There's a little bit of sludge in the top of the radiator, but it's still got coolant in it. So we all, his wife, me, we all said there's got to be a reason he left this thing in the yard for 3 years. Never came back to get it. And he said, I'm tired of it. I want it out of the way. I don't care what you do with it. You can have it. $500 if you can get it out of my yard. I said, okay, all right. So yesterday I hooked up the trailer to the truck, pulled some money out of the bank, and thought, if I can't get this thing running, get it to move under its own power, I'm not going for it. Well, I'll be danged. Took a little bit of work, but it ran. Pulled the dipstick out of the engine oil. It's got oil in it. No contamination in the oil. The tires on this thing are like brand new. They still have the titties on the treads. So this was covered up by a plastic cup, which apparently blew off on the way here because it's nowhere to be found. So it needs a new cap for the hydraulic fluid. And you can see it's got some water contamination in it for sure. So it's definitely going to need a good flush. The sight glass on it is busted. But basically, chain of events, the seat wasn't even on it. It was sitting in the bucket. So, well, the first step is, we'll see what we can do about the ignition. Fought some wasps. We got the corner panel off right there. And messed with the ignition. Got it broke with a screwdriver. You know, my master key that I have here. And while messing with the ignition, I bumped it. Well, I take that back. We put a hot battery on it. We did do that. I took a couple extra batteries with me. We put a hot battery on it. I bumped the ignition. It turned over. He gave it some ether and it fired up. And I want you to listen to this thing. Let it warm up a second. The hydraulic pump's whining a little bit, as you can imagine, from having all the water in it. But it fired up and ran. And none of us could believe it. And I said, you know what? I've always loved Case for their construction equipment, but I've never known why. And I guess I know why. There's not a year to be found on this thing. Here's the data plate. Can't really read it. That's the data plate for the rollover. But it's for an 1835 and an 1835B uniloader, so it's one of the two. Listen to it. Sounds strong. It's great. Well, after we got it running, we needed to get it moving. And I've never run one of these loaders before, so I had no idea any of the controls on this thing or anything about them. But here's how they work. So you have this right here on both sides, and you have this right here on both sides. Basically, this one controls your loader up and down. This one controls your tilt up and down, and then each stick is a drive wheel. So while you're driving this thing, it's literally like this. I can get y'all set up somewhere where you can see it. That's probably not going to happen. Let's see if we can put you down here. Yeah, y'all aren't going to be able to see anything from that angle. But basically, when you're driving this thing, you got forward and backward on each side. And then you got up and down with your bucket and your tilt. Well, we couldn't get it to move. You could tell something was happening because the whole thing was shaking. It sounded horrible. So I said, you know, it probably needs hydraulic fluid. The ground underneath it was black. And it's not because it was black dirt. So I went up to Atwood's, got a couple of buckets of hydraulic fluid on sale. So I spent like $70 something on hydraulic fluid. Came back, dumped a bucket in it, cranked it up, got the loader to move up and down. Couldn't get it to move still. But you could feel it start trying to lurch a little bit. So wound up putting in another, basically half a bucket of fluid in it. That's when it overran and we found it was full of water. No question as to how it got in there, since, you know, it didn't have a cap on it forever. And yeah, my allergies are killing me right now. Got back on it and managed to actually get it to move. Now I will say this, the right side, steer side, the drive line doesn't have a whole lot of power at all. I'm guessing it's probably because of the water in it, maybe some air in it, something like that. But it doesn't have any power. To get this thing to move, it didn't even back up on the trailer on its own. It didn't have enough power. I had to winch it on the trailer. Use the winch to help it on the trailer. And the right side's still pretty stout. The bucket's still pretty good. All 4 cylinders on the loader, though, the 2 on the main loader and the 2 on the bucket, need to be rebuilt because they're just blowed out and you know, just leaking like a sieve. And yeah, other than that, I'm excited. I paid $500 for this thing, and I've got a couple of options. I can either list it on Marketplace and sell it for a little bit more than what I paid for it, not knowing anything else about it, or I can take the time. Won't cost me anything to look at it and see what's wrong with it and fix it as I get the time and the money, and I'll have a skid steer. Because my theory is, as short as this thing is, when I'm hauling hay, I can flip those ramps up, leave them standing up, and I can load this sucker up on the back of the trailer behind a load of hay, and I can haul 18 rolls plus a skid steer. So I'll have a way to unload it, which will be absolutely handy for some of these customers, because if I'm being honest, a lot of the times they don't have a great way to unload hay. And if I can haul 4 less rolls than typical and have a way to unload it, it'll absolutely be worth it. But if I do keep it, the things I'm going to do, it'll get an actual quick attach, skid steer quick attach front end on it. That bucket will either be repurposed with quick attach on it or just disposed of. This floor pan will get replaced. I'm going to build a new floor pan for it. I've also got to dig into it and figure out, I'm pretty sure this lever is the parking brake, but you could just hear that the spring just came off of it. There's a spring attached to it. I'm pretty sure it's the parking brake. Don't know for sure. Down there, there's a spring right there. And so that's what that's for. The seat will be reattached. I actually have this cover. We took this cover off to investigate what was wrong with it. Still has the seat belt in it, so that's a plus. I will also add auxiliary hydraulics to this thing. Somehow I'll have a lever somewhere that I can have auxiliary hydraulics on it, because I want to be able to run stuff like an auger and probably that square bale grapple right there, things like that, which will be incredible, because then I can haul square bales on the trailer and have a way to unload them. Yeah, it didn't actually come with auxiliary hydraulics, which is a little disappointing, but it is what it is. The headlights actually work. Turn the switch on. The headlight works. It says it's got 1,056 and 6/10 of an hour. I don't know how accurate that is. I didn't pay attention to see if it moved. No idea if all the gauges work or not. The fuel gauge shows pegged out at full. You can see it. And it's stuck. Anyway, fires right up though. Runs like a top. Just needs the hydraulics flushed a lot. And I need to put the breather cap back on there before it rains today. But anyway, it still feels like the engine's got a lot of power. Don't know about everything else. The other thing is, I didn't know until yesterday when I was messing with it, these things are chain drive. Yeah, they're chain drive. That whole compartment right there is supposed to be filled with oil. And now it's filled with water. Because these gaskets, these panels were not installed properly, and so both sides are full of water. So yeah, that's something that I've got to look forward to. We're gonna have to drain that out, and clean it, and all that fun stuff. Yeah, these are supposed to sit down in there and then clamp down. They weren't in there anywhere near properly. Which I haven't pulled this side off yet to know if I'm going to go ahead and seal that down on there, so when it rains today it at least won't get more water than necessary in it. Maybe. There it goes. I haven't opened this side up to see what it looks like. It may just have slack in the chain, something like that, and that's why this side doesn't have any power. See if we can open this up right here. Ooh, that one's, ooh, yeah, that's straight water right there. That's nothing but water. Close that back off. Honestly, I highly doubt if I'm ever going to put an ignition in it. If I do, we've got some old ignitions off of those old John Deere tractors that I'll probably put in it. That way I don't have to go buy one. I'm sure it'll all wire in the same. I'm not sure what half of this stuff does. Like I said, I'm going to put auxiliary hydraulics on it, because it didn't come with them. But it shouldn't be hard. I can find a spot to plumb off of that pump. And it's going to need, like, that hose is toast. But honestly, a lot of it's actually steel drive. Steel hoses. So that's surprising. There's the drive motors for the wheels down in there. And yeah, that connection right there looks great. That's a wire connection. You're supposed to be able to adjust the tension on that chain somewhere back here. I don't know where. I've found a manual online that I skimmed through. Not a lot, but I did skim through it a little bit. I'm sure somewhere, get down here, I'm sure somewhere there's a plug. Yeah, there's a plug right there to drain those chain drives out. One over there, so that'll be good. Need to know that. And also, I don't like how these are the only chain points that it has, because obviously this door is toward a crap. So I'm probably going to put D-rings right there on the side. The rated capacity on it's 1,200 pounds lift capacity, which is enough to pick up a bale of hay. So, a good bale of hay. Like I said, these tires are practically brand new. That one's got a little dry rot on it, but I mean, hey, I think they were still holding the air. I put air in them anyway, but I think they were still holding the air. That rim's a little rusted up right there, but they're holding. You can see how compact this thing is. So if you can imagine, I think the last roll of hay on this trailer sits somewhere right in here. So if I roll that bucket up and set it up on top of a roll of hay and I have it spun around, then I should be able to fit that behind a load of hay. Still be able to haul 18 rolls in front of it, and it's going to be super handy if I decide to keep this thing. Otherwise, I'm going to list it for a little bit more than what I have in it at the end of it. And he told me, he's like, I don't care what you do with it. I just wanted it out of my yard. And this thing's definitely got some janky stuff going on with it, but it is what it is. We're gonna see what we can do with it. I know the cylinders will cost me about $100 a piece to have rebuilt. That won't be insane to have done. That hose up there is toast. A lot of the hoses are gone on it. That's fine. That's to be expected for anything sitting there for that amount of time. But drain those chain drives out, if I can talk. Drain those chain drives out, and have to find a way to clean them out really good, get all that crap out of there, the water and the mix, and find a way to flush the hydraulics somehow. I mean, whether it's just take a hose off the pump and let it pump out and then dump more in it to flush the system or something. The system's got to be flushed, and I've got to get a cap to put on it too. So, but anyway, that's a punch. That is a punch holding that block in place. Not even a pin, straight up a punch. These are the drain plugs for the hydraulic reservoir. Hydraulic fluid's not cheap, but a hydraulic system is even more expensive. So, you got that to look forward to and keep in mind. Can't find a whole lot on these. I know that a lot of them are gasoline. I'm glad this one is actually diesel. If it was gas, I probably would have got rid of it. Just brought it home, left it, you know, took it off the trailer and listed it. But instead, I'm going to take it up to the shop and we're going to mess with it. See what we can do with it. And have some fun with it. I think it'll be handy. It's not going to do everything that I've ever needed a skid steer to do because it's still very small. It only has 1,200 pound capacity. And I'm sure it doesn't have high flow hydraulics on it, but I mean, it'll do a lot. It'll definitely haul some dirt and that kind of thing. And I mean, it's not ready to use yet. Like I said, I've got to work on it, but get this thing jacked up and pull the wheels off. Probably set it on some blocks and pull the wheels off and work on it. So anyway, that's my latest project, since apparently the press brake's done and I felt like I needed another project to dump a bunch of money into. You know how that goes. So, you have a good day. Y'all have a very happy Easter, and I'll see y'all on the next one.